Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hopefully, you are well. Thanks for tuning in for my broadcast. Today, I tried to go live a little bit later, so we hit a different time zones. Okay, so you should be able to watch it live when you're in Europe. I think you have around 8:30, depending on which part of the Europe you're in. And last few weeks, we actually went live way too early for you. So you had a very late night. So today, if you're in Europe, this should be a perfect time to sit down, have a cup of tea or coffee, and let's talk scrolling animations. But before we get to it, I just wanted to welcome few people in the house already. Hello, Gianpaolo. Let me know, guys, where are you tuning in from? City or country, and your name in the comments, and I will all welcome you to the show. We've got Ahmed. Thanks for the good vibes. Like, unfortunately, the emojis you try to put in, they don't show as emojis for me, and I see these good vibes characters. Okay, I know that Chalmers Chester is giving me some elbow cough, so I cannot see any of these smiley faces. But hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in, Chelma Chester. Always pleasure to see you on the broadcast. And a few other people are tuning in. Today we will be talking about scrolling animations because ScrollMagic or ScrollTrigger was released by GreenSock. Okay, so we'll get to it a little bit later. Hello, Parmeet from India. Greetings to India. Hello, Milan Galusic from Salzburg, Austria. Okay, that's where my brother lives. Actually, you might be neighbors, Milan, with my brother. Greetings to Indonesia. I'm Ahmad from Indonesia. Looks like today we have a full house. We've got 11 people watching, which is fantastic to start with. And if you are new to my broadcast, then I'm Peter. I'm the guy who hates tomatoes but loves front-end development. I write tutorials on my blog and also record tutorials on this YouTube channel. Okay, so if this is your first time on this broadcast, then nice to meet you. And now let's get into the scrolling animations content. If you have any questions, then leave them for a little bit later. We'll firstly go through the planned content, and at the end I can answer any of your questions, feedback, suggestions, whatever you want. I'll get to your comments a little bit later. Okay, so this will do it for the intro. And now let's jump to the scrolling animations. As you know, GreenSock released later this week on Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday. For me, they released a new scrolling library called ScrollTrigger. Okay, this officially replaces ScrollMagic as the go-to scrolling library, and today we will go through it. Okay, so let's Apologies, guys. I just see it that you said no sound. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so I'll have to go back to here. Let's go back to Alexander Prinzhorn and his Scrollr. Okay, so Scrollr was the first popular animation library or scrolling animation library, and Alexander Prinzhorn is the guy behind it. So let's give him some credit. And for that, I've actually created this, using Scrollr, I created this website, Merry Christmas, where you're building up a Christmas tree. Okay, simple website where you have a grid overlay, some design element, and the tree builds up. Then we decorate it, changing the background, putting the light bulbs. It has it all. Presents coming after. Then the chimney comes in, pushes it all away, and they are happy Christmas greetings. Okay, so this was done using Scrollr. And how Scrollr worked, you actually had to write HTML tags and write the starting and ending points inside of HTML. So it's not really a JavaScript library. You were editing your HTML to do something like this. Okay, so that's definitely some credit to Alexander Prinzhorn for shaping up where this animation magic is going. Then the next one was John Polacek. And John was the second one who attempted to create a library called Superscrollorama. And with Superscrollorama, I managed to create this happy 25th birthday Game Boy. This was when Game Boy was celebrating 25th birthday. And I wanted to create something that will make people happy, will be shareable. And I've created this happy birthday Game Boy. Okay, so as you scroll down, we playing actually a game of Game Boy, Tetris, and this was very fun to work on. As you build it up, it's precisely as the Game Boy used to look. So if you ever have an old Game Boy, then this is very familiar to you. I'll speed it up a little bit. I'll scroll down really badly, so you see how this is what I like the most, when you build up the 4-in-1. So good. Okay, I'll go to the end. Anyway, fun game. I think it has also sound. As I mentioned, the links to all these demos are inside of the description. So go check it out if you want. And this is it. So this was the second one. This was done using Superscrollorama. Okay, let me know if you are enjoying the broadcast so far. If you jumped in, then again, I'll introduce myself, because I know today there will be a few new people watching from Europe. My name is Peter. I'm the guy behind this Ihatetomatoes channel and the Ihatetomatoes blog, where I write tutorials about front-end development, JavaScript animations, anything related to modern creative coding. Okay, so that's me. Let me know in the comments, where are you tuning in from? I see some new faces. Jonathan is in the house. Greetings. Sorry for the stuff up with the sound. Hopefully I made up for it a little bit later. But that's what sometimes happens. When I switch to the other screen, for some reason, it gets muted. So anyway, hopefully that's all good now. You should be able to see me. Hello to Shivan. Yes, you can hear, of course. Grigory, greetings. And hopefully you can now hear me, okay? I'm sure you can, because I can see it now moving. Before I saw myself muted. Alrighty, so that's few more faces. 20 people watching. If you are enjoying the broadcast, smash the like button. And if you really like scrolling animations, let me know if you like scrolling animations, smashing the like button. And now we will go to the next one. The next scrolling animation library, which was very popular, was from Jan Paepke, and it was called ScrollMagic. I'm sure if you're following me on YouTube or my blog, you know that I've done a lot of tutorials on ScrollMagic. And ScrollMagic, again, connected GreenSock and scrolling animation into one library. So you could write your twins and then hook it onto a scrolling events. Okay, so this website, this awards website was done using ScrollMagic. And as you scroll down the page, it reveals specific stats about award-winning websites, what they use. Essentially, it tells the story of if you want to make award-winning websites, then you should use something like this. Okay, I don't think it changed too much from now. Obviously, jQuery use is definitely lower, but all the truths about scrolling animations and using GreenSock, this will be probably higher. I reckon today it's more than 65%. HTML canvas, and if you like it, share it. Okay, so this was done using ScrollMagic and obviously GreenSock for the twins and timelines. And if you know that both Superscrollorama and ScrollMagic use GreenSock behind the scenes, so to master any of these modern JavaScript scrolling animations, you should know a little bit about GreenSock. And this is another project where we are using GreenSock for this little fun Happy New Year card. Cool animation with Happy New Year. Okay, this is from 2016, so that's pretty old, but what I'm saying is it's all done using GreenSock. So if you want to master anything like this, you will need to learn up on GreenSock. And I've recently updated my GreenSock 101 that covers the G sub 3. So feel free to jump in and learn how to use GreenSock. Okay, thanks for the likes, guys. Really useful. Really feeling the support in Europe. As I mentioned, I wanted to come online today in a little bit different time zone because I usually go live in the morning of my time, which is too late for Europe. Okay. And last week, I remember I was scheduling it in and someone replied, "Man, why so late at night?" But I cannot hit every single time zone with one broadcast. Okay. So today I went live a little bit later. Hopefully you're enjoying it. And I will now switch and do a little demo on ScrollTrigger. As you know, GreenSock released ScrollTrigger, which is a new scrolling animation. And I actually was there when they released the first video. This was on Tuesday morning, 4 o'clock. I was there watching the premiere, and the whole day after was a little bit painful, but it was good to see launching a plugin for the first time and being there live. Okay, so ScrollTrigger, definitely the go-to-go plugin today if you want to do anything scrolling related. It's backed up by GreenSock, which, as you know, is a very good animation library. So having the plugin part of the GreenSock ecosystem just makes it so much more easier and powerful. And also you have a clear mind that it's done by the GreenSock guys. And as you know, all their plugins and everything they do is really smooth, works, is supported across the browsers. So all you have to worry about is learning the syntax and having great idea. Okay. I could not believe that it's actually only 6 kilobytes gzipped, which is very, very small. Okay. And here are a few examples of CodePen. So I'll let you go through this. And I wanted to just today go to a little basic demo and see how we can work with it, how we can trigger it at the right time. Okay. If you want to see the demo, do we want to see the demo? I've got 12 likes. If we get to 20, I'm going to jump into demo and do the live coding straight away. By the way, let me know where are you tuning in from if you jumped a little bit later on. I don't see comments coming up. I'm worried that you are guys not watching, but I know you are. So let me know in the comments, where are you tuning in from? Mr. Frog is saying that just my lips are moving. No way. Was I again muted when I was on the screen? No way. Give me a sec. I come here. No, I'm not muted. Just need some validation, guys. Please let me know in the comments. Sound okay or sound no? Because I should be. Yeah, I've got 16. Okay, 4 to go. And we're going to get into the live demo. Hopefully, guys, you're working on something exciting. Oh, I see comments coming in. Perfect. Good validation. Greetings to California. Hello, Paxnot. Hello, Shrikant from India. Greetings to India. Got big following in India. No, sound is good. Perfect. Vienna. Greetings to Vienna. And the Austrian in the house. Someone must be sharing it in Austria. As I mentioned earlier, my brother lives in Austria, so you might be his neighbor. His neighbor. Alrighty. Lukasz. Greetings, Lukasz. You must be from Poland. Greetings to Poland. All good, Chalmers, Chester. Thanks for the validation. And sound is good. Perfect. Thanks, Yardo. Really appreciate it. Sorry for the earlier stuff up. Okay, so now let's go to VS Code and we'll do some live coding. Let me just change my screen for here. We didn't hit 20 likes, but I'll still give you the live demo. How about that? Alrighty, so the first thing, let me first show you what I have in the browser. Okay, so I need to go here and show you what we have to work with. Let me refresh. Oops, I need to go back to VS Code and actually go live with my project. Okay, I'm using the live server. And here, let's go back here. Here I have the basic page with 3 sections. Nothing else, nothing too crazy. First section is 100% of the viewport height, and the next 3 are just sections with, I think, 200 pixels padding at the top and bottom. Okay, and now we're gonna see and try to fade in this project when it comes in a view. Okay, so just about somewhere here, we'll just play with it and we'll see how the scroll trigger works, and then we'll fine tune when we actually want this to fade in. Okay, so to start with any GreenSock animation or any scrolling animations, we need to firstly create a twin. Okay, so let's create gsub from twin. And we want to animate, I'll go back to the HTML. We want to animate the project. So the ID, the container with the project 01, that's what we want to animate. Okay, so let's make the selector, ID project 1. We'll leave the duration as 1 second for now, and we want to animate from opacity 0. Let's make it 10 seconds so it's obvious what's happening. And if I refresh it, if I go back to my browser, then we know 10 seconds this will be fading in until 10 seconds is passed. Okay, so we don't want to do that. We want to fade it in as the user scrolls down the page, and for that we will use the scroll trigger. Okay, so let's go back to the code and we'll remove the duration because we want the scrolling to control it. Okay, for that we will use the scroll trigger, and I have already included it at the top of the JavaScript file. So I registered the scroll trigger plugin that I've included at the bottom of the page. So I'm including GreenSock. You need GreenSock and also this plugin. So you need both for the scroll trigger to work. And then in the JavaScript, we just registering scroll trigger and then attaching it to this twin. Okay. The next element we want to define, or next property we need to define, is the trigger element. And for the demo, we will use the same container. So we want to animate the container, and we want the container to be the trigger for it. Okay. And the next property, because we want to be scrolling down and fading it in, we need to turn the scrub to true. Okay, this will make us scroll down the page and scrub through this twin. Okay, so if I save it, let's go back. I'll go back as well, and we should see it fading in as we scroll down the page. Okay, so if I inspect it in the browser, we'll see the project container having opacity 0.6 at the moment because we scroll down. But if I go back up to the top, it's opacity 0. But as soon as it comes in a view, it starts animating into opacity 1. Okay, so we're animating from opacity 0 to opacity 1. And the end of it will happen. So the opacity 1 will be when the bottom of our container hits the top of the viewport. Okay, so simple animation with just few lines of code. By default, ScrollTrigger works that when the top of your element hits the bottom of the viewport, and it ends when the bottom of it hits the top. Okay, so straightforward. I just wanted to show you simple example. Let's go back to the code so you know what's happening. Okay, so the project one is our twin. We are fading this from opacity 0. And also this is our trigger. We can define other element to be the trigger for our animation, which is very, very flexible. Okay, some other libraries did not have it set up so easily, but we can define other element and the scrolling position of that to trigger animations on other elements. Okay, very, very powerful. The scrub true means that we have to scroll for it to happen. Otherwise, it would happen automatically. Okay, so if I go back and put duration on it, duration 10 seconds, and I remove the scrub, we would see it fading in. Okay, you see it now not fading in straight away, but as soon as it comes in view, it starts fading in automatically. And doesn't matter how much I scroll or not, it's going all the way to the opacity 1. So that's the difference between having it as a oops, I forgot to switch the screen. So again, if I refresh, it's opacity 0, and as soon as it comes in view, it starts animating on its own all the way to opacity 1. Okay. Some questions. No worries. Shrikant has got a question and I'll happily answer it. Let's go back to it because it's important that you guys know what I'm talking about. What is GSUP? GSUP is GreenSock animation library. You see this t-shirt, GreenSock? That's a GreenSock animation library that lets you create a cool animations, timelines, and a very flexible API that lets you animate DOM elements on the page. Or not just DOM elements, you can animate things on Canvas, SVGs, 3JS, anything in JavaScript, you can animate the value of it. Okay, so greensock.com if you want to check it out a little bit more about it. And what ScrollTrigger does, it lets you, your created timelines and twins, it lets you trigger them as you scroll down the page. Okay, so that's when these two plugins, or GSUB is the core and GreenSock ScrollTrigger is the plugin from it. Okay, so you need both. And let's go back over here. So we are triggering it now. But what we want to do, we want to show some markers. Okay, so I'll go back here. I will again make it a scrubbing, and then I will turn the markers on. Markers true. Okay, markers true. Markers true should show us some markers on the page. And as you see at the bottom, we have this start, scroller start, scroller end. Okay, and as we scroll down, obviously the start aligns with the top of our element, and we'll see the end to align with the end of our element. And as we scroll down, you see that when the start hits the scroller start, we're starting to animate. Okay, just here. And it finishes when the end hits the end of this container or scroller end. Okay, so when end means scroller end, we are done and the element has opacity 1 on it. Okay, so let's go back to here. This is it. So that's how it's calculated. By default, it takes 100% of the object that you're animating and takes the height of it. Okay, so that's why the start and end aligns with our whole container. But let's go back and let's try to change it. And we'll change the we'll change the trigger to be our image. Let's try it. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so we now have the trigger to be just the image, and you see how the start and end is now aligning with the start and end of our image. Okay, so if I put 2 markers over here, you see how it aligns with the start and end. So it's very important that you understand how the height of your trigger defines how far the start and end is apart from each other. Very, very important. I think without that, you will always have it messy. And so understanding the height of your trigger controls how far apart the start and end is. Okay. Hopefully that clarifies it. So now we have it a little bit closer. And how do we actually move the scroller end and scroller start? So we can define that as well. But let's firstly revert back this and keep it just that. So we know how to affect the height of these. And now we can define the starting. We want to maybe we want to delay a little bit the start. So we don't want it to straight away go and we don't want it to straight away start animating when it hits the top. We want to go another 100 pixels. Okay, so we can simply define a string, and we can say when the top of our viewport will be bottom. Okay, that's the default value, but we want to remove 100 pixels from it. Okay, so if we have this, we are saying when the top of our project one is at the bottom, but minus 100 pixels of it, we should see now the scroller start moving by 100 pixels up. Okay, so if I refresh the page, we will not see any animation. Let's go back to our element over here, main project one. We're not animating, even though we already scrolled some bit. We start animating after 100 pixels. Okay, and again, we go all the way to the opacity 1 when the end hits the scroller end. Okay, so another cool example of how you can affect the scroller start, and based on that, you can also tweak and delay your timelines, because sometimes you don't want it to start animating straight away. You want to scroll down a little bit, and based on what comes in a view, what your element is, you want to fine tune it and delay it. Okay, so that's how you can delay the scroller start a little bit. And now, what if we want it to be fully visible, roughly here? Okay, so we want it to fade it in, start here, and then fully fade it somewhere around here. So we need to move the scroller end a little bit lower, so it actually fades in a little bit quicker. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go back to the code, and we'll define end. And again, we can use the keywords, and I like to use the keywords because it makes it very easily to then go and review your twins. If you do something like bottom, and we want bottom minus 200. Oops, minus equals 200. Wherever the bottom is, and minus equals 200 from it. So that's it. Let's go back and let's see what have we done over here. So we've moved the scroller end all the way from the top, the default value, and we've moved it over here, which means that it will only take much less time for the element to fully animate in. Okay, so we're fading it in, and it's fully done when the end hits here. So we shorten the amount of how much the user needs to scroll before we see the full element by moving the scroller all the way to the bottom. Okay, so we could go all the way to the bottom. We could made it fully visible when we are over here. Simply removing the minus 200 will make sure that we are fully animate it to opacity 1 when the bottom of our project 1 hits the bottom of the viewport. Simple, flexible, perfect. Love this new API. Okay. Again, refresh the page. We're scrolling down, animating into opacity 1, and when end hits the scroller end, we are done and we have it fully visible. Okay, so that's how ScrollTrigger works. That's what I wanted to cover today. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Let me know, what are you enjoying? What are you enjoying this ScrollTrigger animation introduction? As I said, GreenSock released ScrollTrigger on Monday or Tuesday for me, so it's still very, very hot. And of course, you can find out more about the scrolling library just going greensock.com/ScrollTrigger. Yes, greensock.com/ScrollTrigger. And the best thing about all this is it is actually a free plugin. It's not part of the GreenSock paid platform and paid membership. You can get it for free today now. Okay, so go there and create something amazing. On their page, they have a lot of ScrollTrigger demos on CodePen. So go check it out. And that's what I wanted to go through today. I wanted to give credit to the guys who influenced the scrolling animations and how we do them today. The creators of Scrollr, Superscrollorama, and ScrollMagic. And today, the go-to library for scrolling animation is ScrollTrigger. Okay, I've also updated my GreenSock 101 to contain 6 videos of ScrollTrigger. So if you want to learn, jump onto my site. And I didn't have it anywhere prepared, but if we go to Ihatetomatoes, get GreenSock 101, it's updated with some GreenSock 3, and I didn't update this page, but definitely there are videos, 6 videos of ScrollTrigger added to GreenSock 101. Okay, so that's me, and I will be wrapping up. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know. Sounds like there is intersection observer at play under the hood. And Shrikant, I have to disappoint you. No, there is no intersection observer under the hood. Apparently, it's not as performant and it's not as flexible as GreenSock needed. So it's not using intersection observer under the hood. Okay. Thank you. Great to hear that you are enjoying this introduction. And as I said, I'm coming in live every Friday and different time zones, trying to hit different time zones. So let me know, did you enjoy this? Was it a good time for you, or is it too late, too soon? Let me know. I've got a midday or late afternoon, and I'm enjoying actually this different time zone. You know how I used to come on early in the morning, but it's actually pretty good. So if you are new to this channel or this broadcast, again, I'm introducing myself because I know there's a lot of people around the world, and I want to make sure that you know who am I, and I'm the guy behind this Ihatetomatoes YouTube channel and the Ihatetomatoes Ihatetomatoes blog, where we write creative tutorials about front-end development, HTML, JavaScript, and that's how we roll. Thank you, Milan Galusic. You're welcome. Thanks, Grigory. Appreciate your time. I know you could be doing millions of other things, but you're tuning into Ihatetomatoes broadcast. I really appreciate it, guys. Okay. Thanks, Dimitro. Greetings to Kiev. Thank you, Yada. Great to see some Czech faces on the broadcast. Always good. I will be wrapping up here, guys. Thanks a lot. Let me know, even if you watch the replay, let me know in the comments. What would you like to see covered next? Some ScrollMagic demos diving more into, not ScrollMagics, I mean ScrollTrigger. You see how it's hard because we've been using ScrollMagic for so long. It's hard to get used to the new ScrollTrigger, but trust me, the API is perfect. It makes it so easy to understand how and when to trigger elements. And one thing actually what I'm thinking is to do remakes of some of these cool demos and do them with ScrollTrigger. Okay, so I was thinking to redo some of these, how I would do them today with the tools that are available. And this one is, for example, perfect. That is a good candidate to get the remake. Okay, let me know, go check it out. As I said, links are under the video. And also if you are Game Boy fan, then check out this Game Boy game. I'm sure. And if you have the balls, go and create it with ScrollTrigger. I think it would go really well in the community. And I'm sure you would learn a lot about ScrollTrigger along the way. Okay, so few demos just for inspiration. Hope you are enjoying it. And there's another question. Okay, greetings, Leopoldo. Greetings to Mexico. Greetings to Mexico. Greetings to Spain, Louis. There is a question. GSUP versus P5JS. Which one is preferable from a performance perspective? I've never had any performance issues with GSUP, and I've used it so many times that there's not many other libraries that I would switch to if I have to create something like this. Okay, so for me, GSUP all the way. How about React and ScrollTrigger? You can use GreenSock with React, which means you can use GreenSock, React, and ScrollTrigger, of course. Angular ScrollTrigger, no problem. I'm sure you can use GSUB in Angular. Now you can use GSUB Angular and ScrollTrigger with it. That's the beauty about ScrollTrigger. You know that where you can use GreenSock, that's where you can use ScrollTrigger. You just need to have access to the right DOM nodes and DOM elements that you want to move and fade in or bring in or transition in, transition out. So yes, I'm sure you can use ScrollTrigger with Angular. No worries. Thank you, Stefan Popescu. Greetings to probably Europe, guessing Romania or something like that based on your name. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Really appreciate your feedback, your comments. And we hit 24 likes. One round of applause for everyone. And maybe one round of applause of likes if you've enjoyed these scrolling animations broadcast. Question from Leopoldo, Vue plus ScrollTrigger, same thing. Can you use Vue and GSUB? I'm sure you can. So now you can use Vue, GSUB, and ScrollTrigger. Okay. Question. With the new ScrollTrigger, ScrollMagic will be useless, right? Of course. I think if I would starting project now today, I would definitely use ScrollTrigger because it's backed up by GreenSock and it can do what ScrollMagic can do plus more. So you would be definitely missing out, or I would definitely do with ScrollTrigger today. Okay, so ScrollMagic, yes, great stuff, but ScrollTrigger is the way to go. From today, I would definitely use ScrollTrigger on any projects like this. Thank you, Stefan. Yeah, I knew you from Romania. Popescu, very famous football player. I'm into football, so I know some of these surnames, and I know in Romania. Hagi, Popescu, Lupescu. Don't worry, I know it all. Thank you. Thanks for the applause. It's really appreciated. You guys rock. You the best. Gianpaolo Manfrini, you the best. And if you're not from Italy, then I don't know. Thanks a lot, guys. This is it. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate your time. And I'll catch you in my future broadcast. Until then, happy coding.